Pandemonium reigns.
What's happening, family and friends? Pandemonium reigns, back in your ears, back in your business, back in your car speakers, just back. It's been a long time. We've worked our full-time jobs. It's Friday. I'm off. He's not. Don't tell his employer, okay? So keep this on the down low. It's a major corporation. We'll be fine. Hey, we're going to talk 2024 Oklahoma, and Michael and I were just talking about this before getting on here, and man, this one was tough. This one was really tough to pick, but nonetheless, we're so excited to be back with you again, talking football. Football happens this month. As a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, Joe Milton has thrown a touchdown pass in the last, 14, 16 hours? I don't do time or math very well. So football is back. Hendon Hooker has seen the football field. Man, when is the last time we saw Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker on the same field, the same TV screen on the same night? Insane. It's back. I can hear the pads popping already. My boy, your hair's still long. How are you? You doing good?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm well. I'm feeling a little weird rocking this blue shirt with all the orange behind me. So I'm going to use that to segue and tell you guys a little bit about our friends over at NFTF. Listen, this is my gym. These are my people. So of course I'm going to vouch for these guys, but these guys are also proud sponsors of the podcast. North Forsyth Training and Fitness, my man, Jesse Foster. This is what happens when you talk too fast and try to put two words together. Jesse Foster. Listen, we've told you about class times, running early in the morning, late in the day. They now have 24/7 access. What other reason do you need? What other reason do you need? You want to get better, you want to get healthy? Come join me, 4510 Browns Bridge Road. Start by calling him 706-633-6609. In the past 2 to 3 months, I'm down almost 3 inches in my waist. I'm feeling good. I'm like a half inch away from dunking a basketball again. Why would you not join? Why would you not?
I can't understand why not.
I don't know. I mean, you would if you were here, right?
Probably so, yeah. Especially if I can get that good Dan Tucker friends and family discount. You know what I mean?
you know what I'm saying. I will say this: if I keep losing size off my stomach, I'm gonna be working without a shirt for too long. So I'm getting it, baby. Middle age, with a midlife crisis. That's the word I'm looking for. Everybody's gonna put in a shirt. Anyway, I'm done. 2024 Oklahoma, dude. I usually start by, what does Vegas think?
Yeah.
7.5?
But didn't you quickly understand that when you personally I wrote the schedule down just like I would in the old days in the first fruits of the Pandemonium Reigns podcast. I wrote this thing down, got it on paper. It's not in the cloud above my head somewhere. Sorry about that joke. I got it on paper. Man, I get it. I get the 7.5 because, and we're about to get into it, but 6 of these games, are really, really tough, really challenging.
Yeah.
Some at home, obviously. They've got some tough road trips and really probably games they would shift to home and flip some others if they could. Obviously, you can't pick your schedule usually to that level of detail. But, yeah, man, about 6, maybe 7 really tough games. So I get it.
Yeah, dude. Well, so here's what I do. I lay it all out and I start where are the wins? And I went, let's go ahead and kind of tap into this a little bit. Temple's a win, Houston's a win, Tulane's a win. I've got Maine a win, and I've also got South Carolina a win. So that's 5 right there.
Yeah.
And then you look at the rest and you go, oh, yeah, 7.5 makes sense. I actually listened to J.D. Pickell on the way over here to record. He's got him at 6-6. He didn't make a game-by-game prediction in this episode, and he's getting blasted for this prediction. But you've got to make decisions on hosting Tennessee, going to Auburn, the Red River rivalry, at Ole Miss, at Mizzou, hosting Bama, at LSU and Baton Rouge. You got to make decisions on this.
And those last 3 road games, that's what I'm talking about. If you could just flip Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, 2 of those, 1 of those to home, you would do that in a heartbeat. Especially something like LSU, where Death Valley is just going to be maniacal if it's a night game.
Yeah.
Where their offense, man, if they're able to continue the steam that they had last year, and I know that they lose a Heisman winner, I know they lose Malik Neighbors. I know all that, but they're on a really good path offensively.
Mhm.
Kelly's not really had the offense lacking. It's really out of character that he had the defense lacking last year, but they made wholesale staff changes. They didn't exactly bring in what they probably wanted to defensively, but I mean, just a couple of those are examples of what I'm talking about. If you could, man, let's bring Ole Miss to Norman. I really like our chances a lot more. Maybe Missouri as a better example there, since Ole Miss and Lane being the Portal King, all that, you would maybe say that one. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's 3 really tough road trips right there in the back half of the schedule. Your only other road game is Auburn, which is not the worst. You're probably okay with playing at Auburn if in terms of flipping games to home. But yeah, I mean, just a rough introduction to the conference. Welcome to the SEC.
Welcome to the SEC. Welcome to the SEC. So a few other things before we get into this. I want to make a couple notes here, and I want to ask you a question before we dive into it. Going through this, just peeking at the roster, Casey Thompson has made his way to Norman, Oklahoma. Who knew? I didn't. The guy has been all over the Midwest. It makes me feel bad for the guy. Like, man, I wish he could come home, figure that out. Also, I didn't realize that Key Lawrence, Tennessee fans will know that name, has transferred out and landed at Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Lane freaking Kiffin.
So there's that. I like the defense for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Pikel pointed this out. I wish I could take credit for this. 79% of their returning production on defense. Let's see if I'm gonna mess this up. Here we go. Where's my note? 79% production. Oh, sorry. 79% of production on defense returns, and that's a crew that allowed 23 points per game.
That's interesting. The way that people, they really get some positive buzz, man. And it's Brent Venables. We know that. There's a certain air that comes with a name like that on defense. We all know that. We've all seen what he's done. But, yeah, I mean, 23, that's probably a little bit north of what they wanted, a little bit more closer to the middle of the road, I would say. That's obviously pretty good in a modern era of what we see offensively. But you'd like it to, you've got to bring that down this year to avoid being, like you said, a 6-6 team. Speaking of Pikel,
let me throw this at you though. That's with a Jeff Lebby offense that likes to go fast, it likes to put up a lot of points, it likes to spread you out.
Bingo.
Playing defense on an offensive system like that, that's stupid hard.
Yeah,
absolutely. So to be a 23 point per game defense, that's stupid impressive to me.
Yeah, you're right on that. You're right on that because they are going to want to go fast. They're going to spare zero time on snapping the ball, from play to play. So yeah, that's pretty impressive when you think about it that way.
Yeah.
However, and that was in the Big 12, obviously, not shading the Big 12 offenses, but the trench play is probably going to be where the biggest test comes. Maybe the defensive backfield inside the SEC and getting acclimated to that. Agreed.
Let's move to quarterback just for a second, and then we'll get into this. Gone is Dylan Gabriel. Insert Jackson Arnold. Maybe it's just where I'm located in this part of the country, but there's just not a lot of talk that surrounds Jackson Arnold. And I want to defend that just for a second by saying, show me a single team in this conference that would not take him as your quarterback. He's highly recruited, blue chip, 5-star. In my mind, he is the reason that Dylan Gabriel is out. I think Jackson Arnold took over. That's just my thought. Say what you want. I got no evidence to prove that. But even speaking to Tennessee fans for a second, trade him out with Nico. Trade him out with Jake Merklinger. You're talking about this QB room differently. I should say you're talking about Jackson Arnold. It's happening. Yeah. I mean, if somebody else has Nico and we have Jackson Arnold, we're excited about it because, and don't put all your stock into that poor performance of a bowl game that they ended their season on. So, if Jackson, in my mind, is a lot like Nico, if he's half as hype, and of course, again, they're talking about it in that part of the country, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, or however the song goes, right? In the Midwest, where everything's flat and not here in the hills. If he's half that hype, if he's half of his recruitment, I think they're going to be all right. Because, coming back to the defense for a second, I think this defense is good enough to win you a lot of games.
Yeah, and they're certainly going to keep you in more than they're. You're not going to get boat raced because of this defense. They don't have those type of holes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have many holes at all. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
Every team loses players. In fact, I was going to get to this. They lost 25 out of the portal. They brought in 24. So I trust Venables. Like I was talking about, there's just some serious equity that comes with his name in the game defensively, and it's going to be a matter of, did he make the right OC hire? Can Arnold really, is he ready to step into being Oklahoma's starting quarterback? Because my God, what a history they have there, et cetera, et cetera. Those are going to be obviously the deciding factors, and we're going to talk about a lot of them.
Yeah. Say they make the playoffs. What's the reason? What's the narrative? What was their main reason, as they go into their first game in the playoffs, the commentators talking about Oklahoma, fill in the blank. What is it?
If it's Oklahoma in the playoffs, there's two variables for me for how to answer this question. Number one, like we've talked about, their defense picked up their offense, with maybe a bad term there, gave their offense time to score, kept them in every game. Like we're saying, they shut a lot of teams down because that's how good they were. And number two is going to be Arnold is what they projected him to be, being the recruiting analyst, being Oklahoma who brought him in. He was good enough. He really burst onto the scene. They picked up momentum in that early part of the season, largely and thanks to him. And they just kept it going all throughout, and they weathered the storm. I think that would be the narrative if they get in the playoff.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think you have to add something to it. Arnold was not only half of his hype, half of his recruitment. He was everything he's made out to be, possibly more. Defense was elite, and they caught lightning in a bottle somewhere around the Tennessee game.
Yep.
Yeah, the games at the two stretches of Tennessee and Auburn and Ole Miss, Mizzou. You didn't split those. You got both of them.
Yep.
So I don't think they're a playoff team. We're going to get to that, just because this schedule is borderline Florida.
Yeah, dude,
but that back half is atrocious.
It's top. If Florida's the runaway number one hardest schedule in the country to me, there's just no denying that. This is a top 5, top 8 difficulty of schedule just because of how brutal it ends. Mm-hmm. Well, like I've said, who you travel to versus who you bring to Norman. That's going to be the what it is for me with how tough the schedule is, because it's a dandy of a schedule.
Yeah, super thankful that Jeff Lebby is no longer there.
Amen to that.
I think we'd be talking about him differently. Here we go. Let's jump into this. Let's make our predictions. We're going to write it in pencil. They're going to start off with hosting Temple, hosting Houston, hosting Tulane. I got it 3-0.
I've got it 3-0. I just want to say that Tulane is approaching Appalachian State territory of
sure. Yep. I'm glad you said this.
And I don't want to credit Tennessee too much until they do something, but don't be looking ahead. Don't be thinking about Tennessee's high-powered offense and overlooking Tulane because they can score points. They're just a nasty program for the level that they play at. You better not overlook them, but I do have that as a win in a few weeks away from the season.
Sure, yeah, and Houston's no pushover either. I mean, second year in a better conference.
Yeah,
and for what that's worth, that conference in my mind is going to be the one to watch. That is going to be the new MAC conference in my mind. Like that conference is up for the taking with anybody.
Absolutely.
But I think you're spot on with Tulane. They're no pushover. That one's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
It should.
Then here we go.
The
narrative that is going to be Josh Heupel and returning to Norman, Oklahoma, and not only that, Oklahoma's first game in the SEC. I mean, we're going to hear about it all week. If College Game Day is not in Oklahoma, it's because Oklahoma dropped one of these that they shouldn't, and Tennessee lost to NC State, and who knows what else. There's just nobody cares anymore because it's the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I didn't know how to go with this one. We haven't really talked a lot of, we haven't made our season prediction on Tennessee yet. I had to make a pick right here. I did choose Tennessee with no confidence just because I had to make a pick. There's a couple of things that I like here that is in our favor. I think that we're a little bit more battle tested. NC State is no pushover defensively. I think yards are going to be hard to come by.
Yeah.
This is going to be the game of the quarterbacks, and I think it's who makes less mistakes
Yep.
at the quarterback position. I'm hoping this is where we see out of Josh Heupel, like he's got a killer instinct about him. Like there's no feels, there's no empathy. It's smells blood, steps on the throat. I also like the fact that yes, Oklahoma's good on defense. We arguably have one of the best defensive line rooms in the country. We're deeper at linebacker than we've ever been. We got a whole new set of bodies in the secondary that's getting a lot of hype. Our receiver room is one of the best in the country, in my mind. There are a few that are better. We don't ask our offensive line to win games, and we've got trustworthy dudes in the backfield. And just like Oklahoma, we have 5-star quarterback, first year. If I think Nico, I know he was an early enrollee. I'm not sure about Jackson. There's a couple things that send me a hair in the favor of the Orange. Listen, if Oklahoma comes out and tallywhacks us, not going to be surprised. This is no pushover squad, but for the sake of today, got to pick Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what I've done as well. In my, there's a scenario where I think Oklahoma wins this game, but in the real world, I think that Tennessee wins this game. In the real world, I'm surprised actually that we haven't got to this yet, considering that we've got to Levy being gone and that they've had to replace him. In the real world, Oklahoma replaces an entire starting offensive line. They do that with, a quarterback who is just as experienced as Tennessee's. They are the same level of experience. I think I like Nico's mobility a tad more than Jackson Arnold, just seeing the way that he's ran before, how long he is as a strider, all that.
We don't know about Jackson. I mean, we don't know.
We just don't know. We know a little bit more about Nico. And Nico could go over there and wet the bed against a good defense. Offensive line could not hold up. But in the real world, it is hard. It is dang near impossible to replace an entire offensive line and your quarterback. I was going to get to this in a minute as well, but I know more North Carolina State receivers than I do Oklahoma receivers at this moment.
Stoops is one.
Stoops is one. Yeah, there's a Stoops over there. That's true. But it's just going to be tough, I think, to keep all of the bodies that Tennessee's got just in the front seven alone off of Jackson Arnold.
Farouk.
That's true. Okay, so there's a couple.
Yeah.
It's probably even with North Carolina State then is what it is. But I think it's going to be tough to keep Jackson Arnold clean, upright, long enough, especially with the secondary getting more athletic, if they can at least be in the vicinity of the football. Those are the reasons for me. Just trying to pick from a level-headed standpoint of facts or what we think are facts at this point versus picking with my heart. I still think it's Tennessee.
I'm with you, and I think a major factor in this game is Tennessee's front.
Absolutely.
Defensive front. And that's not out of disrespect of Oklahoma. Just don't know much.
Bingo.
Know a lot about ours. There's a lot of bodies. Coach Gardner, James Pierce. He may not be the number 1 overall pick. He's a top 5 pick. I mean,
yeah.
If he's not gone in the top 5, he had a career-ending injury. Yeah. All right. So it doesn't get any easier. They traveled to the Plains at Auburn. I gave this a loss as well for them. This was super tough for me. Again, if I'm wrong, come September, when this game is played, maybe the first week of October, not surprised. I'm not surprised. Here's what I came down to. Now Oklahoma's traveling. Jordan Hare's going to be on fire.
Yeah.
Please give me a night game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the whole voodoo factor. This is what it came down to me. There's not a single scenario, there's not a single fan base that I want to be a part of and look at and say, yay, Auburn's on my schedule. Don't want it. Hugh Freeze here too.
Yeah.
Now Peyton Thorne. Say what you want to. He didn't have a spring last year. Didn't have the receiving core. He's got a year in this system now. He's got a better receiving core. Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman, Rivaldo Fairweather, who's going to be an NFL tight end. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the Plains. Auburn.
Okay, so we did split here, and I like it when we split, in the 5th game of the season rather than maybe in like the 10th game of the season like usual. I've gone Oklahoma win here, just because of this is one where I expect their defense to carry a large load of this game. Okay, Auburn is looking to have a breakout year for Peyton Thorne, for a lot of receivers to break out because of like you just said, they didn't have a receiver room last year. And I don't think Oklahoma is the team that you want to do that against. Even though you've got them at home, I think you're going to get off to a really good start for their season like we've looked at. I think I like, there's actually no doubt I like Jackson Arnold's upside more than Peyton Thorne on any day of the week. It will be, again, a battle of can you keep him upright on the road when it's super loud and, everything's new. OC's new, yada, yada. But those are the basic reasons that I went Oklahoma here, because I think this is one where your defense really can carry you. And even if Auburn's proven, hey, look at our weapons this year, they're going to have to prove it against a defense of this caliber like Oklahoma is expected to have.
I'm fine with that. And I think I actually made a different prediction when we did Auburn back,
Yeah, I probably did.
I think I had an Oklahoma win there. I since flipped. Again, y'all, written in pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. They're going to get a bye week.
Yes.
Then the Red River rivalry.
Boy.
Here's what this came down to for me. Quinn Ewers, Steve Sarkisian, and I just don't see Texas losing again to them.
Yeah, I mean, nobody ever needs bulletin board material or bad blood in the Red River rivalry. Texas has got it this year. Texas is looking, man, they're talk about being tested. They're going to have gone to Michigan at this point of the season. They've got the quarterback seniority. I almost chose the wrong word there. They have, again, more known weapons. They're putting dudes in the league across the roster again. Just, again, looking from the facts that we think we know today, that's why I went Texas. Of course, Oklahoma can win this game because this series makes as little sense as maybe the Iron Bowl or Ohio State, Michigan, you name it. But today, I'm going Texas.
Yeah. The only reason I was a little hesitant is that season-ending injury on C.J. Baxter. That sucks.
Yeah.
But Quinn Ewers and Sarkisian can dial it up, man. Say what you want.
Boy, can
he. Look what he did with Mac Jones.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, dude. No kidding. He fooled an entire NFL.
Now, he did have a Heisman receiver. Yeah, he fooled the entire NFL. Yes.
Yeah, yes. No kidding.
All right. So I've got that as a loss. You've got that one as a loss as well. South Carolina. This is a win. Oklahoma for me.
Yep.
I'm going to throw I'm a hot take. Ready?
Yeah.
This is the game that ends Shane Beamer's career. Because at this point, Oklahoma's 3-3. South Carolina travels, and they don't look at like a third-year lead coach program. They don't know what to do with Nick Harbor by this point. It's bad. Year four. Yeah. He's got a history at Oklahoma. I'm going to say Oklahoma hangs a 50-60 burger, and this is the end of Beamer. I'm okay with it.
Surprised. Oh, yeah. I mean, they could obviously do better, but good luck because of how it's going, how your roster looks, all that. Yeah, dude, this is a big Oklahoma win. I mean, talk about all the bad of, new offensive line, new offensive coordinator. Man, South Carolina's been going through that with the exception of having Spencer, good God, at quarterback.
Rattler.
Wow.
Rattler.
Yeah. Having Rattler at quarterback, on loan from Oklahoma, that's really been your only known thing. But you've still lost so many games in so many ways that you shouldn't have, and way uglier than you should have lost them. There's just no chance in my mind that they go to Oklahoma and win this game. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they fire Beamer here.
Yep. So you got that as a win.
Dude.
They're going to travel down to Mississippi and play at Ole Miss. The biggest thing for me was, what has Ole Miss done thus far? This one was tough. This last 1, 2, 3, 4 games, obviously not including Maine, this is tough. This is really, really tough. I like Venables here. Kiffin is just known to do things that he shouldn't. I can see this being one of those get your popcorn ready speeches, and then he pisses the bed. Can see this. I'm going to take Oklahoma to go down and get a win here.
Okay. That's really interesting. And yet again, we've split because I do think Ole Miss wins this game, I hate doing this, but it's almost like copy and paste everything I said about Tennessee's defense against Oklahoma and what they're bringing in, what they're really baptizing with fire this season. You talk about, man, Princely from Florida. You talk about Big Boy from Texas A&M. This defensive line is going to be nasty. They love to bring pressure in so many, much like Oklahoma's done through the years, in exotic ways and more than you can block is what Ole Miss has loved, proven that they've loved to do. And it's kind of now or never for Jackson Dart to really take another step, because I think he's a little overvalued as we stand now. But I just keep saying this, but man, too many football reasons, too many seemingly known commodities for me to take Oklahoma on the road in a spot like this where Ole Miss can't be losing games, such as this one if they want to really make a playoff push and run.
That's fair. I won't be surprised if Ole Miss hangs 100. I'm not going to be surprised and gets that win. I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Pardon the interruption there.
Excuse me.
They're going to get a breather here and host Maine. That's a win.
That is a win.
Travel to Columbia, Missouri. Missouri is another one where I am so thankful that they are not on our schedule. A lot like Auburn. Even more so, though. I don't want to play Mizzou. This is a top 10 program. I hate it, and I hate to admit it. And it's reunited. What's the word? Kindling an old flame. There we go. An old Big 12 rivalry. Mizzou.
We have split again, and I'm so here for it. We never split 3 times in the 12-game schedule. I love this. Oklahoma wins this game on the road. Okay. Just like I've talked about what Oklahoma's replacing, boy, Missouri's replacing a lot of production. Now, that's largely in the form of one day I'll think of names. Cody Schrader. Yes, they brought back Luther Burden and Brady Cook. I think with the losses, with the upside of Arnold, and I'm speaking again largely to Oklahoma's defense to carry a large portion of the load, to throw the kitchen sink at Luther Burden and Brady Cook. I think those are the reasons, man. I think they go up there. I think this is the second toughest game on Missouri's schedule probably, and I don't know that they've played the other one by this point. They're going to be the one thing Missouri's going to be fighting this year is how battle-tested they are, and this schedule sucks. It's terrible for Missouri. Yeah. So there's just several reasons, several factors, how tested they've been. I think Oklahoma's got the options to throw at Burden. I think he's also someone that's a tad bit overvalued. I really love his upside. But Oklahoma goes to Columbia, Missouri, wins the game.
Okay. I don't hate that at all. If I've said this once this offseason, I've said it 1,000 times. I know I'm wrong. I just don't know where.
Same. So. With you, it's perfectly said.
So they get another breather. They get a bye week, and then they host Bama. The battle of crimson and white, crimson and cream. Which crimson comes on top? I'm going to take Bama.
I've also taken Bama.
The cupboard is more full. You're talking about game 11 by this point with Kalen DeBoer. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to look, but I think I'm not going to be surprised, dude, when Kalen DeBoer has Jalen Milroe in New York, whether it be on the ground or through the air.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I think he's going to do it, and it scares the piss out of me.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do it. I'm going to take Bama here.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. Now, this is one that with the trajectory we're on here, I'm surprised we didn't split again. It's tough to put my finger on because this is a home game from Oklahoma. This is one they're going to desperately need, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on them here. And I think it is what we know, even though it's a lot of guys needing to take a step for Bama, such as the entire wide receiver room, that they need to take a step. They need to get back to form that they were in a couple of 3-4 years ago. But man, Milroe, I trust him over Arnold because we know again what a weapon he can be, how beautiful that deep ball is if they're cranking that out. And Lord knows DeBoer has 1,000 different ways to hurt you. He's done it everywhere. He's won everywhere. And they're going to have plenty of pieces on defense. If Oklahoma's receiver room was maybe more proven than they are, that would really give me a push here for them. But there's just too many reasons I'm taking Bama in this one. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Let's begin to wrap this one up. They're going to end the season in Baton Rouge. Man, I cannot wait for this one either. whatever.
Yeah.
I'm taking Oklahoma. Here's why.
All right.
Until LSU shows me that they can stop the bleeding on defense, I'm pretty sure they've allowed points to be scored in the offseason somehow.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is gone. That's no diss on Nussmeier, who's he's not Jaden Daniels, who you take Daniels off that team, and there's a lot of dudes you could put there, but because of his mobility is the reason why they won so many games. And don't get me wrong, too. Heck of a quarterback. Heck of a quarterback. But until LSU can stop the bleeding on the defensive side, and maybe they will. I mean, this is game 12. Maybe they will by this point. But at this point in early August, they haven't yet. Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is yet again. I'm surprised we didn't split here as well. But I've got Oklahoma winning this game. This is one of their more impressive wins on the year. It's probably between this and at Missouri in my book, just depending on how wrong I am. But I'm with you, man. LSU's got to get stops. You can point to Arnold's picks in the bowl game, but he also had something like 360 yards or something crazy. I mean, he chucked it around the yard. That's why he threw the picks, in fact, because he threw it about 50 times, and they're not going to have to do that in regular season in the real world. I think, for that matter, Nussmeier did the same thing against Wisconsin in the bowl game, I believe it was. They both threw it around. And this may be the biggest shootout on their schedule this year. I really don't know. With what we think about LSU's defense, with how above average to good we think Oklahoma's defense is, don't be surprised if they really go down there and lay the law down somehow.
Yeah, dude.
But I just think they edge them out because I'm with you. I need LSU to have hit on some more of their targets, maybe, or something like that to give me a little bit more confidence. Like I said, they flipped the defensive staff, but they weren't able to quite flip the defensive roster. So those are going to be the major factors in that game. But months away from it at this point, I'm going Oklahoma.
Yeah, dude. And I just want to end the whole thing by saying this: if they're at 8-4, which is what you got them doing, you might want to sign Venables to an extension because that is one heck of a schedule. First year in the conference, you overcame some serious challenges. What's funny is I'm right below the over/under. You're right above the over/under. It's at 7.5. You got 8-4. I got 7-5. I think Venables is the guy. I think you just need to continue to give him more time, even if you do something like a 5-7. I don't think you're going to do that. I don't think you're going to go 5-7. I think at worst you're going to find some kind of 6-6 situation.
Yep.
But you can do something as bottom as 6-6, and you can still do something as crazy as 10-2. I think your roster is good enough, especially if you get half the hype out of Jackson.
Yeah.
Any quick ceiling floors there for Oklahoma?
No, 6-6 is my floor, and that will not be well received among the fan base. But I'm with you. I hope the administration is like, hey, that was a beast of a schedule. We're returning at this point, junior Jackson Arnold. We're going to get him some weapons. We're going to fill in the gaps. We're going to do those things, and we're going to take care of Venables. We're going to take care of our guy Arnold, etc. And I'm with you too. I think there is a 10-2 path there. That would be their playoff scenario, obviously. And they are getting plenty of playoff buzz. They're getting plenty of high-end buzz. I just have the concerns that, the offensive line deal used to be a huge thing, and it's like everybody's forgotten about it. I don't know. But I will say, to that point, their last 5 recruiting classes, 2 are 6th, 1 is 10th, 2 are 12th. So you've got options to replace the guys that you have lost with. It's just how proven are they is really it. But yeah, I'm with you. 10-2 at best. I don't think you're 11-1. 6-6, I think, is probably your worst case because there's just no way they lose all these games that you and I have split on and all of that. I just don't think they're capable of losing all those games. They're Oklahoma. They're a proud program, plenty of talent there, like we've just laid out. And Venables, I think, is going to prove in the long run to be a heck of a head coach.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
He's too good at what he does.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Agreed. All right. Well, we're going to land this thing. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and talking 2024 Oklahoma. Football season is right around the corner. It will be here sooner. See what I did there? Than you think. I'm Dan. He's Mike. Thanks to our sponsor, North Forsyth Training and Fitness. We love you guys. God bless. Go Vols.
GBO.
Pandemonium reigns.